All right, 11 minutes after the hour now, and let's get to our top political story we talked about just a moment ago. Tim Kaine's turn as a political attack dog, saying that Donald Trump pushes the values of the Ku Klux Klan and David Duke. To discuss, we're joined by CNN political commentator and Donald Trump supporter Jeffrey Lord, along with Democratic strategist Danielle McLaughlin, also a Clinton supporter. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning there, Dr. Victor.
Good morning to you, Jeffrey. Good morning to you, Danielle. I want to start with you, Danielle. After we heard Hillary Clinton's speech on Thursday about Donald Trump and the alt-right and Steve Bannon, and you watched it, our viewers watched it, there was not this rush from the RNC to attack those statements, to defend Donald Trump. But after what we heard from Tim Kaine on Friday, there was. Did Tim Kaine go too far?
Well, as you said, Victor, he's playing the role of the attack dog, which is what a vice presidential candidate does. I think they need to be very careful about not getting down into the weeds with this. As Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you go high. And for the rest of this campaign, Hillary Clinton's message has been one of unity and togetherness. She's talked about love and has run a very positive campaign. So I think that the comments that Trump made about her, as the sense that she was a bigot, had to be addressed. You can't just take that lying down. But I think they need to pivot back to the issues, back to the ideas, because that's where they're going to win.
Do you think it was a mistake?
I don't think it was a mistake, but I think they need to leave it behind.
All right, let me come to you, Jeffrey. We've heard from supporters of Donald Trump who are calling this out of bounds. The statement from the RNC, Tim Kaine sunk to new lows with the dirty and deplorable attacks. This comes from the RNC, who is obviously supporting Donald Trump, who just days earlier called Hillary Clinton a bigot, and during this campaign has called her several other names. So is this appropriate for them to now, or Donald Trump to be so surprised by this, or the RNC to be so offended by these statements?
Victor, I have to say, when I heard Tim Kaine say this, I laughed, because this is so unbelievably cynical. In 1964, I've gone back and looked at these things. In 1964, the Democratic Party had a commercial featuring the Alabama wizard of the Ku Klux Klan saying, quote unquote, "I like Barry Goldwater. He needs our help." In 1980, when Ronald Reagan was running against Jimmy Carter, they said that he was tied to the Ku Klux Klan. This is one of the oldest tricks in the Democratic playbook. Yeah, is it scurrilous? Is it racist? Is it terrible? Yes, but at this point, it's been tried so many times, it's just cynical, laughably cynical, and they ought to be embarrassed.
Let me come back to you, Danielle, and you said that they need to get back to the issues. Is this the proverbial jumping the shark, where we're now, no, you're a bigot, no, you're a bigot, no, you push the KKK? I mean, at some point, do we get back to talking about, because I would love to have the immigration conversation, to have the gun control conversation, but this is what people are following, and this is what we're now discussing. Can we make that pivot back to issues, to policy?
Well, we have to. You know, I think Donald Trump has made this a race to the bottom. He has campaigned on division and name calling. I'm really still waiting to hear his immigration plan, and we're, 70 days out from the election. This should be about the issues. That's what people on Main Street want to hear about. They don't want to hear about name calling, but I respect Clinton's right to punch back, because as is obvious, he has been name calling from the very get-go, not only against his primary opponents, but certainly against her. We should have a conversation about immigration. I would love to know what Donald Trump actually wants to do with immigration, except for build a wall, which, by the way, 60% of Americans don't want to happen.
We're going to talk about that immigration policy and how it's coming together in a little later in the show. But Jeffrey, it's difficult for some voters to get to the policy proposals from Donald Trump because they hear rhetoric that is disturbing. I brought it up last hour. I'm going to bring it up with you. This Quinnipiac poll that was out just on Thursday, and 60%, nearly 59% to be precise, of the voters polled said that they, quote, believe that the way Donald Trump talks appeals to bigotry. Does he have to do a better job of articulating these positions, and does he need to come out and be a little more forceful about not wanting those votes of white supremacists?
Well, first of all, he doesn't want the vote of white supremacists. But the real point here is, I think we need to have the discussion as, what is bigotry? When you take African Americans for granted, as the Democratic Party has routinely done. You know, Victor, they're talking about the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know if you know this, in 1924, they couldn't even pass a resolution at the Democratic Convention condemning the Ku Klux Klan. They haven't apologized for slavery, for heaven's
But
sake.
that was a different Democratic Party. We know the difference between the Democratic Party pre and post New Deal.
And frankly, you know,
I'm
Jeffrey,
sorry.
you do this all the time.
No,
You
no,
talk
no,
about the Southern
wait,
Democrats. It's a different party.
Hold on. Jeffrey, finish, and then I'll bring it back in, Danielle.
The New Deal was built on racism. I mean, Franklin Roosevelt boasted to Justice Hugo Black, who was a Klan member, that a lot of his friends were Klan members. Their formula always is race plus progressivism equals political power. They still do that. That's it. So we need to, if we're going to have a discussion about bigotry, we ought to have a discussion about how it is used in the modern day Democratic Party with Al Sharpton and La Raza and all of that kind of thing.
All right, Danielle, I'll let you finish it up.
You know, it's simply not true, Jeffrey. You do this over and over. You paint the modern Democratic Party with the sins of the past Democratic Party, and it's simply not true. Hillary Clinton is running. She's talked very forcefully about issues that we still have in this country, about our own inherent biases, the problems that we have with systemic racism. There are so many ways that this manifests itself in day-to-day. Everyone, African Americans, everybody wants economic opportunity, wants access to higher education. And she's put forth actual plans other than sort of random ideas about how to make America great again.
All right, and hopefully we'll get to some of those plans. I mean, this was something that wasn't part of an interview. This was something that Tim Kaine introduced. Donald Trump is pushing their values, the Ku Klux Klan values, the David Duke values. As you say, Danielle, that you expect that this won't continue, but we'll see. We've got about 70 days to go. I promise we're going to have the immigration discussion this morning. Jeffrey Lord, Danielle McLaughlin, thank you both.
Thank you.